Hi, everyone. Neil Fox here, LifeWorks Gym. With me, I have Leah Letcholt, and she's a personal training client of mine for the past 2 years. Leah, instead of me blabbering, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Leah Lachelt and Canmore resident and a client for, like I said, like Neil said, about, I guess it's almost 2 years. We'll be celebrating that 2 year anniversary pretty soon.
Yeah, what do you do for a living?
Um, I'm an executive director in healthcare, and I have been very heavily involved in the provincial COVID response team for continuing care for seniors. So I've been busy.
Yes. Yes, you have been busy. I know all about it. And thank you for your work. Let's get into the interview. Let's talk about all your life, where you told me when I first met you about you've been through about 10 car accidents in your life, and how did that make you feel with your body and emotionally?
Yeah, well, the doozy car accident was about 20 years ago with an impaired driver, and the car was crushed. The vehicle was airborne when it hit us, and I was in the back seat. So I sustained some pretty significant injuries, and unfortunately went on to have more car accidents. I just seem to have a target on my forehead or something. One was even a speeding police officer that hit me. So just a lot of bad luck. And so I've had some pretty significant injuries, mostly neck and upper back, that are considered to be permanent and degenerative. So I have to live with them. They're my new normal. And so over the years, the accumulation of injury after injury and all the secondary complications that come from that, I just started deconditioning, losing confidence in my body. A lot of pain cycles. I would flare up and not just wake up sore the next day, but would actually need, yes, significant painkillers for 6 months sometimes just to get over those pain cycles. So I got into um, that mode of being afraid to do anything that might trigger one of those pain cycles again. And so when you have that, you just withdraw from anything that might put you at risk. So that was the state I was in.
Oh yeah, everything you do is terrifying. Um, what did you do? Were you looking for other personal trainers to help solve your problem?
Yeah, well, I did a couple of things. I'm not sit around and be a victim kind of person. So after about 7 years post accident, the first big one, my upper body was still in really bad shape, but I reasoned that maybe I could play soccer.
Mm.
Thinking that it just used my lower body, of course, which isn't true, but I didn't know that at the time. And I'd never touched a soccer ball in my life either. But I had this idea that I could somehow become a soccer player. And I actually did. I learned to play and I joined a team and I moved up the ranks and, did quite well. But I ended up getting injured after about 5 years of playing soccer, and I had a couple other car accidents, and so I eventually realized that I couldn't just go out and be a regular athlete like other people. And so I did try some fitness classes. I tried a couple of personal trainers, but every time I got re-injured very quickly, and it ended all of those great intentions.
Right,
So I learned that I wasn't a normal body person, is what I learned.
right. Some complications. Um, what made you decide to finally um, having a talk with me a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I finally had the space in my life with not being as heavily involved with our kids. They were adults by a couple of years ago, or even sooner than that. So I felt like I had finally the time to really invest in me and the time that I needed.
Mhm.
Um, but I was also afraid to try yet another trainer that was just going to charge me a lot of money and then injure me by pushing me. And so I did a bit of a search and heard about you and had an introductory meeting. And I think I was probably even a bit chippy in our first meeting because I might have even taunted you when you said, you know, you will work with my body, you will work with my injuries, you'll listen to me, and you won't injure me again. And I don't think I really believed you. So I sort of had a well, we'll see about that kind of attitude. So, but I think you might have taken that on as a good challenge.
I don't know. I don't remember feeling that way. I remember I hear that. Well, I hear that story a lot. I guess I get a lot of strong-minded people coming through my door, so it didn't feel extremely new. I didn't catch the way you were saying it, the way you felt it anyway. Um, but yes, I have confidence in fixing that. But what results have you achieved since experiencing my programming?
There's a couple of really critical things for me. One has been for you to help me understand that the knee pain or the hip pain is actually rooted in that neck and back pain and the degeneration that happened. And so I've learned that it's not enough for me to just work on the knee. I have to work on all those underlying structures that are causing those deficiencies in my posture and in my strength and all of that. So that was one really big thing. The second one is through the incredible work that you've done with me. Um, First of all, you've given me some confidence again that my body can start becoming more of a normal body that responds normal to stresses instead of going into these horrible pain cycles. I can be like a normal person where I can be a weekend warrior and I'm just sore for a couple of days. I'm not completely debilitated for 6 months. So it's that confidence and that trust that I can start letting myself do a few more things and push myself. And in fact, a huge thing, because of my neck injury, I was not able to ride a bike at all. I couldn't do any cycling because of the position. And a couple of years ago, I went on a 170-kilometer cycling trip through rural New Zealand. Um, um, Actually, it was even sooner than that, but that was part of that, um, trying to do some things that stretched me. Um, and so you've taught me that I can keep trying those things with some confidence and not be afraid.
That's right. What's different from my programming to other personal trainers? What do you think was the difference changer?
I would say a couple of things. One is, um, you respect that I know my body and that I listen to my body, and then you listen to me. So you watch me to see the signals, and sometimes you could tell me even before I realize it that we need to stop something because it looks like it's putting pressure somewhere. So that's one really important thing. And the other thing is, um, you're doing that rapid assessment in real time, like in today's session where I said my neck is a little bit crabby today, and so today's program was about making my neck less crabby. So you don't come in with a package, plan for the day. You start with an idea, but then the first question is always, how is your body today?
Mhm.
And I know that you will come up with something that fits where I'm at today.
Awesome. What's your favorite part of the programming?
Um, it's actually I used to dread it because I was afraid and I was embarrassed and I was um, really dejected about where I was at. And now it's actually a great 50 minutes. It's a great conversation. It's, you know, um, and it's a time to just focus on my body,
Mhm.
which I didn't always have the time or make the time to do. And I didn't always have the safe space to do that.
Mm, thanks for sharing that. What are you experiencing now with sports? Now that it's been a couple of years of personal training.
Um, I am doing more. I'm hiking. I couldn't hike for a while, and so now I can do a 25-kilometer hike, no problem. Cycling, I couldn't cycle distances or anything like that. I've returned to both downhill and cross country skiing and snowshoeing. And so I'm able to enjoy all the things that Canmore has to offer. Um, I couldn't do many of those things, or I wouldn't commit to any kind of a group activity because I didn't want to be the weakest link in the chain.
Mhm.
Um, and so I would just bow out. But now I go, and I see how it goes.
Mhm. So awesome. So thank you for that. And one more question, Leah. If someone was in a similar situation than that you are, they're trying to figure out what to do or how to solve that problem so they can continue with their life of activity and get back to an athlete, what would you say to them to convince them to enjoy my programming?
Well, I think what has made so much difference to me is me trusting you,
Right.
and you trusting me
Mm-hmm.
to be open with where I'm at. And it really is a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't do it alone because I was too discouraged and too afraid. And so that partnership is huge, because you've given me the confidence and the skills, um, and the incredible knowledge to know, how to deal with my complexities. So that's been great. And I would say many trainers, they just don't have that depth behind them.
Mm,
They're trained in the general principles of personal training, but they don't have that depth of understanding the human condition like you do.
thanks, Leah. So it's a lot of communication as well, isn't it? Just constant communication. Trust in the beginning, communication throughout. Great. So thank you for everyone tuning in and celebrating Leah and her new life. Good job, Leah. um, yeah, thank you for your time. Time to get back to work, Leah, and me too. So I'll talk to you later. Okay, I'll
Thanks,
see you.
Neil.
Maybe I'll see you tomorrow morning for class. If you don't, then I'll see you for the session on Tuesday.
Terrific. Thanks, Neil.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.